Now to the swift voting of Barack Obama, absent the swift voting part. Take note that this is all John McCain, and he approves this message.
Barack Obama never held a single Senate hearing on Afghanistan. He hadn't been to Iraq in years. He voted against funding our troops. And now, he made time to go to the gym, but canceled a visit with wounded troops. Seems the Pentagon wouldn't allow him to bring cameras. John McCain is always there for our troops. McCain, country first.
I'm John McCain, and I approve this message.
Well, it is literally true that Senator Obama canceled his own visit to the Landstuhl Regional Medical Center. The reason given by that McCain ad as to why, as well as the video used to illustrate its point, were entirely false. McCain's attack ad claiming that Senator Obama, quote, made time to go to the gym but canceled a visit with wounded troops. The announcer adding that, quote, it seems the Pentagon wouldn't allow him to bring cameras. The implication being that that is why Obama canceled the visit, because the media would not be allowed in the medical center with him. But when Obama visited the wounded troops at Walter Reed in Washington last month, no cameras or reporters were with him then, and that had been exactly the plan this time. No media, just a visit. As for the claim that Obama went to the gym instead, the footage used in the McCain ad is from his time in Kuwait a week ago, playing basketball with the troops. With thanks to the folks at factcheck.org, here are two more misleading statements from the McCain ad. It is literally true. Obama has not held a Senate subcommittee hearing on Afghanistan, but the full Senate Foreign Relations Committee has held 3 hearings on Afghanistan in the same span the last 2 years. Obama attended one of those, and while it is literally true that Senator Obama has not been to Iraq, quote, in years, he had previously visited in January 2006. So years? Yes, 2.5 years. The McCain ad giving the impression that it had been like, you know, a century. Meanwhile, his name is Senator Chuck Hagel, and having been to Iraq and Afghanistan with Obama, he does not approve that message.
We saw troops everywhere we went on the congressional delegation. We went out of our way to see those troops. We wanted to see those troops. And that's part of our job, to see those troops, by the way, and listen to those troops, Bob. And we do.
Do you think that ad was appropriate?
I do not think it was appropriate.
Joined now, Robert Gibbs, Senior Strategist for Communications and Message for the Obama campaign. Thank you for your time tonight, sir.
Thanks for having me. Based
on the terms presented by the Pentagon, it seems the senator still could have visited Landstuhl if he just had his security detail with him. Why was the decision made not to do that very low-key, very minimalist visit?
Because the campaign was going to take along with it retired 2-star General, Air Force General Scott Gratian. The Pentagon said that his participation would make that trip a campaign trip. And we decided at that point, then rather than put our men and women who had served the country, served our country, protected our freedom, and been injured, rather than put them in a political situation in the middle of a campaign fight, that we would just not go and not use them as props in this kind of fight.
The McCain ad, most of the airings of this thing have not been followed by any kind of fact check. The news organizations just throw it out and then say, well, what do you think? Never mind the fact that the McCain campaign's ad buy for this seems to be sort of like a token effort, that this was more intended for kind of what you just saw here being played on television news. Obama said on several occasions his response to attacks like this would be swift, but we are moving in this, obviously, this 24-hour news environment. To this point, the senator's response seems to have been swifter than the McCain's swiftness, to use an unfortunate term. But is it fast enough? I mean, has there been enough of a response to this thing, no matter what its provenance or intention might be?
Well, I think there's, as you mentioned, this ad's aired about 5 times throughout the entire country. But most importantly, and I think you ticked through this, Keith, the footage that they used to say we don't visit the troops was, in fact, footage that was shot by Armed Forces Television with Barack Obama visiting the troops. There's probably not a better spokesperson than this than John McCain's friend and colleague in the Senate, Republican Chuck Hagel, who says the ad was inappropriate. Just a month ago, Barack Obama, as you said, went to Walter Reed. A week ago in Iraq, those 3 senators, including Barack Obama, visited a combat support hospital in the Green Zone in Baghdad, where they take the most immediately wounded off the battlefield. So I think the ad is honestly best served by us getting out the facts, but not overreacting to the fact that this ad is dishonorable and inappropriate, and I think that's pretty clear.
Senator McCain had pledged to conduct a clean campaign. He said that's what the country wanted and deserved. And if this turns out to be a dirty one, which this ad and some other things might suggest, is Senator Obama putting himself at a disadvantage if he does not respond to some degree in kind? Is there thought of letting loose the 527 groups, perhaps?
Well, look, obviously we don't control the 527 groups, and certainly negative ads that go up by the McCain campaign, they seem honestly quite comfortable with making all of their advertising negative at this point. Will certainly be responded to, but I think it's important to fight the truth, fight these ads with the truth, which is what we've done, and point out just how silly and quite frankly dishonorable they are.
Those contradictory polls today and the calculations a lot of people on all sides of the spectrum have been making, clearly the majority of Americans want us out of Iraq, plus a majority of voters want change, plus the economy is in the state that it's in. Is there any sense that that should at this point equal a bigger lead for Senator Obama in these polls?
Well, look, I think this is all presidential elections in the last, at least the last few presidential elections, have been exceedingly close races, and we think this race is going to be exceedingly close. We think people are just beginning to get to know who Barack Obama is, and as more people do, we think the politics and the polling will take care of itself.
Robert Gibbs, senior strategist for the Obama campaign. Thanks again for your time tonight, sir.